Brodes Media.
That may have been the ugliest game in Eagles history. Ugliest win, I should say. This passing game is so bad, I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm watching Johnny Wilson get more targets than A.J. Brown throughout a good portion of the first half. I'm watching Jahan Dotson and even Alcantara get looked at more than A.J. Brown. Now, let me start here, I guess. One, I'm angry, and I do know that midweek I'll probably feel differently. A win is a win, and when you put together 9 straight wins, and when you see the opponent that's coming to town after you just played Washington, L.A., and Baltimore, there is some version of a letdown that's going to happen. Can you find a way to be scrappy and win a game that, you know, is really hideous? I mean, it's bound to happen in a 9-game stretch, and if you're winning them all, they're all not going to be pretty, right? So just from a general sense, that's how I look at it from an overhead view, and I do feel like there's truth to that. With that said, though, normally they figure it out, and then they dominate a second half. They turn on the Jets, and then they abuse you. They kick your ass. They obliterate your soul. We never got that here. You just escaped. Quite frankly, I don't even know how they did it. There's a few plays that I liked offensively. Jalen for 35. Jalen's touchdown pass to Alcantara. The 3rd and 13 to A.J. Brown. But that ended up not really mattering, and I don't know. There was also him sliding prior to that to even set up the 3rd and 13. There was the delay of game after that, which was a disaster. I thought that was Jalen's worst game passing the football. The worst. And he's had some damn bad ones. This is the worst. And I believe in Jalen. I think he is capable of throwing the rock more than people give him credit for. But I'm watching A.J. Brown break out of his route, and I need to see the quarterback anticipate that timing of it and throw the football. He's hesitating. He's double clutching. What are you doing? Number 11 is going to be open. You have to trust it. He's going to beat his defender. You have to know it. Let it rip. How many times are they going to show AJ and Devontae Smith on the bench clearly upset, clearly aggravated that they aren't getting the looks that they deserve? So I really don't know how they pulled this thing off. I mean, obviously Saquon had some good runs in there. But wow. It probably shouldn't have been as close as it was if the dumb, idiotic, stupid-ass refs call a face mask that's right in front of your damn eyes. There was nobody in play even close to the 2 men, the tackler and Alcantara, who had the ball. There was not a mess. There was not a big group of 5-6 people where it could get lost. This thing was the only play by the football. Now, you know, when you pin them down to the 2, the fact that we have to hold our breath on, what was it, a 2nd and 4 incomplete pass where they get behind your defense, and if it wasn't for hitting the turf, then we probably would have lost, and it would have felt just as painful as the one against the Atlanta Falcons, because we're watching Bryce Young go 98 yards where Josh Sweat had his legs wrapped up at the end zone, and he throws a bomb. Now I'm watching Adam Thielen look like he's Randy Moss in his prime, and this is what I don't understand. Bryce Young, who has been playing better, no doubt about it, and Adam Thielen in year 97 can consistently get intermediate plays going, can consistently get chunk yards going, and Jalen and A.J. Brown can't? How does that make sense? You should accidentally walk into some big-time plays with A.J. They didn't even do that today. I don't understand. I believe when it gets this gross, there's a lot of different layers to it. I couldn't tell you the last time Kellen Moore tried something that is so cute and creative that I'm like, yeah, baby, that's why Kellen Moore's here. At the same time, if plays are there and available, you got to execute the simple plays and have the quarterback hit guys out of their break prior to hitting that next step in your playbook, which is creativity. I'm watching Johnny Wilson get overthrown. The guy's 6'6", 6'7", and the ball's flying 5 feet over his head. I'm watching him go 3 and out against this Carolina team, and spare me, they've been playing better, Brodes. Shove that up your keister. I don't give a damn. This is supposed to be a Super Bowl champion. A Super Bowl championship caliber team. I don't care how scrappy a 3-win Panthers team is. Please. I finally turned the corner and felt good about this team, but this passing game is a problem. And guess what? That's not all. Jake Elliott stinks. And I give Nick Sirianni a ton of credit because punting the football was the right decision. You cannot try a 54, 53, 52-yarder with the game on the line, and if you miss it, then you give Bryce Young and the Panthers good field position. You can't have that happen. You've already gotten burned by that with Jake Elliott earlier this season. To Nick Sirianni's credit, he learned and adjusted by previous mistakes made. Good for you, coach. This is the reality, though. If you have to make that decision mid-game, your kicker can't be utilized. And if your kicker can't be utilized, you have to look in a different direction. I mean, that's just what it is. It's what it is. If you can't trust your kicker to hit a 50-plus yarder to make a 1-possession game, a 2-possession game in the fourth quarter, how do you expect to win in the playoffs? I just mocked Baltimore for their inability to have an effective kicking game and how much that is going to be their kryptonite and be the reason why they fail miserably, because you have to rely on points in close games in particular moments. Justin Tucker sucks. He sucks. I laugh at the Ravens because he sucks. Jake Elliott sucks. This can't work. This can't fly. If this is who he is, we will not be able to succeed. You need a reliable kicker. You need someone who can make a 1-possession game, a 2-possession game, late in a game, over 50 yards. The dude misses an extra point. You're lucky that there was an offsides. Then you go for the 2-point conversion. Good for Nick. Right call. On both scenarios, the punt and the 2-point conversion. But you have a Jake Elliott problem, and that can hold you back. So it's very irritating that we're here. Darius Slay, couple of big 4th down stops. Good for you. But I thought this defense as a whole, super sloppy. I've seen them wrap up and make tackles way better than what I saw today. There were a couple of times where 2 defenders was attacking the ball for a gang tackle, right? And it should have been on 3rd down. Let's say you stop them and make it 4th and 4, right? That's if you actually executed. But instead, you allowed for them to gain a couple of yards. Now it's 4th and 2. They go for it. They keep their drive alive. They put together an 8-minute drive, 7-minute drive, 14 plays. They go 70 yards. But you allowing them to just outmuscle you and to lower their shoulder and gain an extra yard or two on third down to set up a more reliable fourth, that gave them the opportunity to roll the dice. But a 4th and 5, a 4th and 6, you're not giving them the luxury of thinking about it. You force them to have to punt it. You force them to have to play a different game and to call the game differently. But they weren't as crisp in that area. It was rough. That game as a whole was rough. And I want to make it clear again that I'll probably feel differently about it maybe as the week goes on, especially if I see how the game looks against Pittsburgh and they look like what they did against the Ravens. Then it's like this was more of the hiccup. This was more of the uh-oh, but they were able to win that game still. So if you're able to win sort of that letdown game, everyone calls it a trap game, but if you win the said trap game and you move forward and then you get back to who you are, then all right, you just kind of move past it and you play down to your competition. You never want to do it, but the emotions are high and the anticipation's high for a big game at 425 down in Baltimore to match Lamar Jackson, to match Derrick Henry, and to match the toughness of that team. When you come home and you just naturally see a way weaker opponent, regardless on how they looked against Kansas City and how they looked against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, reality is that juice and that energy and that pop and that flair and that excitement to face them. It's not the same as going on the road and facing Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp and Sean McVay, who just won 4 out of 5. It's not the Washington football team or the Commanders on a short week at home for the NFC East crown at that particular time. It's not what it is. So naturally, the letdown is there. Maybe that's what we witness and maybe that's what we experience. And knowing what I believe this team is, then that probably will be the case, but it doesn't help me right now as the game ended 5, 6, 7 minutes ago, and I'm seeing that.